Firstly, there has to be immediately, yesterday, a massive investment in global manufacturing supply. The world does not have enough manufacturing capacity to produce the vaccines, and that's where I would start, by enhancing the vaccine manufacturing capacity globally in a distributed way, which wasn't just dependent and available to a small number of countries, but was distributed globally. So there was manufacturing in Asia that was enhanced. There was manufacturing in Europe, in Africa, in Central and South America, as well as in Japan, China, the United States, because that's the best way both to cope with this pandemic, but will also be important for any future inevitable pandemics. The second is when countries, essentially the rich world, the rich world has vaccinated its most vulnerable in its communities, yes, the elderly, senior people in society, healthcare workers, when it's vaccinated the most vulnerable in their communities, make all of the vaccine doses they have available to the COVAX facility within the umbrella of the ACT Accelerator and the World Health Organization, and let that partnership, which is global in nature, make sure that those vaccines are available to all countries in the world. We had a wonderful story in the last week of vaccines now being made available in Ghana, in Côte d'Ivoire, in West Africa, and I hope that we will see that increasingly across the world over the coming days and weeks. This is a moral, it's an ethical argument, of course, but it's also a scientific, it's also a public health, and it's also a financial and economic imperative. We cannot rebuild the world economy until we vaccinate the world. That is the stark choice we face.
Yeah, that's a really, really good point. And that really echoes the interview that we had with Dr. Shebnem Kalemni-Ozkan, which will also feature on this podcast, just about how global value chains and global supply chains are really just so linked across the global economy that, we really can't get started unless we're all kind of on the road to recovery. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, science has really delivered in 2020. We have diagnostic tests which work, and rapid tests that work. We have sequencing of the variants. We have drugs that save lives as a result of the recovery trial and the solidarity trial. We have now, just in the last few weeks, we've started to make sure there is oxygen available and PPE to protect healthcare workers. But vaccines are crucial to this, and vaccines will ultimately, with the other elements that we talk about, they are the exit strategy to this pandemic. But science is not the end point. Science is only of so much value unless the vaccines, the treatments, the diagnostic tests, the oxygen and the PPE are made available to people, and people then able to take it up. It's about access rather than just the science. Science points us the way to the exit for this pandemic. Access is what provides that exit strategy.
Listen to the full episode of Politics in Perspective on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever else you get your podcasts.